Hi, so today we're talking about a very different definition of happiness in comparison to the way we tend to talk about happiness on this channel, in terms of getting happy in the long term, which is obviously important. But today I want to talk about a more fleeting kind of happiness, I guess, but one that you can create for yourself and to suit you. And also you can do this on repeat if you need that little boost of happiness. So just a little bit of context. I'm going to take you somewhere with me. Now, you probably realise, if you don't know me, let me just say that I have always had a very strong sense of place, even as a younger person. And by that I mean that the places I go to evoke very strong emotions in me. Now that tends to work very well for me, unless of course it's a negative emotion, which does sometimes happen. Architecture and places have a very emotive effect on me when I let it happen. And by that I mean you have to be present and mindful in order to allow places and buildings and so on to create an emotion in you. Okay, I'll stop talking. I want to take you somewhere that creates a very positive emotion in me, and yes, actually makes me happy. And then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, so we're almost there. This takes my breath away.
Please follow the arrow on the display, then you will have reached your destination area.
Oh, look at this. Is it not just...
In 100 yards, you will have reached your destination area.
She's so rude. This is where we're going. Isn't it beautiful? It absolutely takes my breath away. And now there's our chappie waiting to take the car for us. Okay, see you in a sec.
You have reached your destination area.
Okay, before we go inside, can we just take a minute to look at this fantastic masterpiece? I mean, the house, as you can see here, has been here since 1615. Apparently there was a dwelling long before that. But in 1615, this house was designed. So it's kind of Jacobean in nature inside. But then later on down the line, a Baroque architect was employed. And so there's bits of Baroque in there too. What we're actually looking at here, however, is a result of the remodel in the 18th century by the famous British architect Sir John Soanes. Let's go inside now and have a look. And look what greets you. It's a unicorn. Oh my goodness, it's a unicorn that's a symbol of fantasy, rarity, purity, protection. It's a wild, untamable animal of great strength, optimism and courage. Like me! And like you, all of my ladies on Happy Stuff and Fluff. The next time someone asks you if you were an animal, what would you be? Tell them you're a unicorn. You're one of Chris's unicorns. Yeah, so where are we then? We're actually in a furniture shop. It's not a home at all. Welcome to the world of RH. Let's just have a look inside. I mean, if you look at the juxtaposition here of the classical motif alongside very contemporary artwork and sculptures, and of course the contemporary furniture of Restoration Hardware, which I'm not going to talk too much about, obviously. I'm not a furniture channel. Look at the view there. The gardens actually were designed by, again, the famous garden designer, Capability Brown. But what I want to show you to start with is the fantastic orangery restaurant. The light, it's like a beacon from one end of this house to the other, because when you go in there and see the stunning windows all the way down one side, below and above, reflected in the genius placement of these mirrors on the left-hand side, topped off with this fantastic glass chandelier. The light is practically divine, I kid you not, and they've kept the furniture very neutral so that the architecture and nature, the garden from outside, can just sing. And here we have it, a definition of happiness. Good friends, good food, good wine, and good design. Now, there is a John Soames exhibition here that you can go and have a look at, and it tells you all about the house and the stages of it. And then look at this. Yes, now I'm not talking about the embarrassment of Hercules. Let's just try to ignore that for a second, because what we are looking at here is the stairway to heaven. Again, fabulous placement of mirror, but just look at this. Just look at this. It's coming. Oh, look at that. It's just fantastic. And again, the light that comes down from there, stunning. Absolutely stunning. And all around there are pieces of furniture and decorative items, rugs, you name it, all for sale. All for sale. Of course, my interest is in the architecture and in the house. I mean, just look at the stone on the floor here. When I see that, I think of all the people over the hundreds of years that have walked up and down those flags. And here we have a room, again, with furniture in, kind of displayed like your own home. But look at this piece of rock on a pedestal, except it isn't a piece of rock, it's a face. I'll tell you what, I'm going to investigate the price of that because I think it's stunning. And there are my legs. Not for sale. But just across the room here, obviously that's on a marble console table, which just looks fantastic. And then there's another one here. It's just amazing. And as I say, most of what you see is for sale. It's amazing. I have to say, the light fixtures are something to behold. This is a very colourful wall hanging, reminiscent of Jackson Pollock or Jack the Dripper, if you like. Just look at the colours in that. Again, juxtaposed with a very contemporary looking modern light fixture. Fantastic. A stunning talking piece. And here's another one. Yes, a dead woman on the dining room table. Not so sure about that. Stunning though she is. And again, what a talking piece that would be on your dining room table. As I say, probably not for me, although I try to keep an open mind as far as these things are concerned. So yeah, we've seen the contemporary wall hanging. Look at this verdure tapestry. Stunning is not the word. And again, the light fixture against it. The way they've done this place is superb. If you are in England, you need to come to Restoration Hardware England. The furniture, of course, which is what they're selling, the lighting, the flooring, the rugs, everything. I'm not so sure this tapestry's for sale. I can't imagine how much it would cost. But it would look rather nice in my hall, don't you think? Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Takes your breath away when you walk in the room. Yeah, and again, a very contemporary looking piece of furniture in front of it. So the classical and contemporary is mixed all the time, and I absolutely love that. I absolutely love it. Now here we have, this is obviously, it's a U-shaped house, and we're looking across now, and you can see the stunning neoclassical architecture there, and the radiator. But look behind, look at that fantastic Norman church that's behind Restoration Hardware. And it's an interesting church on its own to come and look at. Although the tower is Norman, the actual body of the church was remodelled in a classical way to kind of sit nicely at the side of this beautiful Aynhoe Park. So yeah, now we've got some of even the cushions, it's all for sale. Except you don't actually buy from here, you scan the plaque that's at the side of each item and you buy online. Nobody comes to bother you. Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Oh my goodness me, I could weep with joy. You know me and stone walls and brick walls. Wait till you see what's coming. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the coffee shop at Restoration Hardware. They're not paying me, by the way. They're not paying me. This is not a sponsored video. It's just such a stunning place. It's been open about 18 months in England, and I think we've been here 5 times. Look at that. Even the coffee shop there, the counter, has classical elements to it, but wait till you see this wall. I think this has to be my most favourite room in the whole place. Just look at that wall. What stories that could tell. The colours, it is divine. And then you come out into the more kind of formal gardens behind the house. It's a beautiful day today, which is also unusual this summer for us in the Middle England. And there's the outside pizza oven, because this is the loggia where you can come and have lunch if you don't want to go on to the restaurant. And this has the stunning Cotswolds view beyond the trees there. So we've done both. We've eaten in the restaurant, which is fabulous. The service is amazing. The food is fantastic. But if you want to eat more casually, you can come here and sit in the loggia. And if the British weather lets you down a little bit, there are fires throughout the loggia to keep you warm. And there I am, not going to film while we were eating, but we'll be back because there's lots more to show you at this place. Yeah, so that's Restoration Hardware in England. Now, if you're in America, chances are you visited an RH store, and if you have, you'll know they're all spectacular. Every single one I've seen online around the world are, it's a kind of, I'd like to go there and see that. Yeah, I think they've hit the nail on the head with this. Now, it's probably more expensive furniture, but this is the one in England anyway, is very hospitality oriented. And as I say, you can go there for dinner and for lunch and so on. But I do think it's the way to shop. The guys who park the car for you when you get there, the staff in there are incredibly courteous and helpful, which is how it should be when you are spending your hard-earned cash. So I applaud RH for what they do there. Now, of course, my interest is in interior design, of course, but in this sense, I wanted to show it to you because of the architecture and the place itself. Now, as I said earlier, I've always had this strong sense of place. And for me, medieval and classical architecture has a profound effect on the way I feel. It lifts my mood. It takes me out of my world and puts me into another world. And when I come back to my own world, I feel rested. Now, I hope that doesn't sound too highfalutin. Maybe what I say next will sound even more that way. But this building and those like it make me feel like I've come home. Now, I know the size of it. That might sound ridiculous. It was a home. It was a home indeed for some very fortunate people, and apparently lots of celebrities have celebrated there. But this architecture says to me strength, it says protection, comfort and welcome. Is it the symmetry? It's obviously very pleasing to the eye. Is it the proportions? the space and the light inside, probably all of those things. I mean, do you have anywhere you go that gives you that same uplift in your mood? I think we are now beginning to recognise the relationship between, for example, architecture and well-being, mental health. And science is now showing us how to create our buildings, of course not on that such a grand scale, but how to design elements into architecture that can create a strong sense of well-being, which I think is incredibly exciting. That visceral feeling that we all have when we go somewhere like, I don't know, Venice or, you know, these beautiful places. Beautiful, they make us feel good. Why is that? People have studied this and are now introducing small elements into architecture for all of us that can create a strong sense of well-being, and I think that's amazing. So the definition of happiness that I was talking about, good food, good wine, good friends and good design, which I have to say I have borrowed, not just for me personally from RH, but for our business too, because it applies to that. And it brings me nicely to something that happened last weekend, may have been. Some of you may know that August this year was the 5th year anniversary of the passing of my daughter Charlotte, who died with cancer at the age of 31. So on that day, that was the actual day of her passing, we invited people who were close to Charlotte and who I knew could well be feeling that sense of loss on that day. And I wanted to bring us all together. Now, if you are grieving, I do have to say to you, certainly for me, these anniversaries, Christmas, birthday, and all of those things do not necessarily upset me any more than any other day. My loss of Charlotte is profound and acute and still is every single day. But this day, because it was 5 years and because I knew other people may be feeling sad on that day, I wanted us to be together. And so we invited those people, and I'm grateful to them because it helped me too, and Mr. Kitchen and my sons. But all of them travelled quite a distance to come and be together, and I was incredibly grateful for that. So we made some food, some good food and some wine, and we spent the day with these good friends. And I hope that you will agree that the design of the tablescape was lovely. I mean, that in itself, for me, creating a table like that brings me joy. And let me tell you why. I feel, because I don't cook, you know that, obviously I help to prepare this kind of food when we have people around, but I don't do the cooking in the main. What I do is presentation, and believe me, I do that with love. And so creating a lovely, pleasant tablescape for people to sit down and enjoy is my forte, and I love to do that for people. So that was my contribution on this day. The sun stayed out for most of the day. We had tables inside, tables outside, as you saw, and I also had a oyster and champagne station, because this is my daughter Charlotte, and she loved oysters and she loved champagne. And so everyone, and bless them, even those who didn't even like oysters, everyone came to the oyster station, had an oyster and raised a glass of champagne to cheers to Charlotte on that day. See, I'm getting emotional now. It's just beyond. But yeah, so what can you do? Obviously, this was a special occasion for Charlotte. We do these things not just on Charlotte's anniversaries, of course, just to entertain friends. It's lovely to do that. Remember, good food, good wine, or whatever other drink you like to drink, with good friends in a nice, pleasant atmosphere is uplifting and will bring you joy. I hope that's given you some ideas and you've enjoyed it. And If you are in England, going to RH is well worth a visit. The Cotswolds, of course, is worth a visit. If you come to visit England from anywhere in the world, chances are you'll go to the Cotswolds, but you may not call at, I believe it's called Apricot Village. I know. You may not have this place on your list of places to visit, but it's a neoclassical masterpiece. And then you've got the RH. Lovely, warm welcome and design elements inside. Okie doke. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we're getting happy, living longer, and growing younger.